Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. D.V. Prasad from Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak. Today, we will discuss the module Indian Village, a Myth or Reality from the paper Indian Anthropology. Let us see what we are going to learn from this module. We are able to define Indian village and to identify rural lives in its villages, and we are able to define and distinguish between several ways in which villages can be classified. We will also discuss the process of examining source of livelihood for village, able to describe rural settlement pattern. The father of the Indian nation, Mahatma Gandhi, has rightly quoted, India lives in its villages. Villages are the nervous center of Indian civilization. Since time immemorial, about 67% of total population in India resides in rural areas. The socio-economic fabric of villages depends mostly on agriculture, handicrafts, and other agricultural related activities. Agriculture is not just a source of livelihood for village folks, but it is also a way of life. Culture and traditions have gone out of the agriculture. With the advent of modern means of communication, rural migration, education has brought about dynamic changes to the social structure of villages. It is no longer viewed as isolated hamlets. The impact of globalization has set foot on rural India, making it more integrated to outer world. Indian village is no longer a myth. It is a reality reflecting wide panoramic view of society and culture in India. Classification of villages. There are several ways in which villages can be classified, but classification based on size, population, and area of land is the most accepted classification. Based on these criteria, villages are classified as the following types. Number one, Pura, the place where habitats are in close settlement. The habitats are around or nearby areas. These habitats are thus being called nucleus of the area. Then Caste, the main village or Sadar is called as Caste. When people of the main village settle at some distance from village and called this as their main village. With the growth of population, the word caste is used for the village from where people spread around. Kalan. Large villages are called as Kalan. These villages have heterogeneous population of varied caste and class. Kurd. Small villages are called Kurd. Khera. Small colonies and also higher ground of villages are called as Khara. And Khera has a great social value for village community because social gathering and functions takes place in Khera. Nangli, it comprises group of small villages where one village is surrounded by several satellite villages. Rural settlement pattern. The layout of the streets and arrangements of building patterns in the villages gives out certain settlement patterns. The most common pattern found in the villages are rectangular or square, checker, board, elongated, linear, circular, semicircular, L and T shape, triangular patterns. When it comes to major patterns, that is rectangular and square pattern and linear pattern. Rural settlement pattern. The layout of the streets and arrangements of building patterns in the villages gives out certain settlement patterns. The most common pattern found in the villages are rectangular or square, checker, board, elongated, linear, circular, semicircular, L and T shape, triangular patterns. When it comes to major patterns, that is rectangular and square pattern and linear pattern. Rectangular pattern, this pattern is most found in areas of uniform topography. In linear pattern, this type of pattern is typical area where main streets of the villages run parallel to the railway lines, roads or waterfront. L-shaped pattern and circular pattern. The L-shaped pattern form where at the junction of main road two rectangular blocks of houses meet to give a L-shaped pattern. Circular pattern. The settlement takes a circular pattern when the habitats are situated along the bank of a pond or lake. Socio-cultural aspects of villages. Agriculture being the mainstays occupation of villages, they have close relation with nature. The social ethos of village life depends on close ties of kinship and friendship. They lay stress on customs, traditions, consensus, and informality. Caste and class structure do take special places in social fabric. Family. Family is the indispensable part of rural life. The bonding of family ties plays a vital role in various aspects of village life. It is the pyramid of psychological support structure. Joint family structure is the dominant in villages. Caste system. Caste as an institution plays a major role in social arrangement pattern in Indian subcontinent. Varnas and Jati refers to two broad institutional arrangements within Indian caste system. Varna is the fourfold division of society into Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras. The caste system in villages was rigid once upon a time. The coming of market economy, communication, education, rural urban migration has dissolved the caste hierarchy and made the self contained caste into mobile classes. The power structure and land holding in villages are determined by the caste. The monetary economy of village was also determined by caste lines. Religion. Agriculture dominates the basic mode of livelihood in villages. Before the advent of modern irrigation and agricultural technique, most of the rural farmers depends on Indra, god of rain, for their harvest. The dependence on the forces of nature like rains, natural calamities, displeasure of gods points the basic nature of religious belief prevalent in rural society. The dependence on the natural forces and lack of proper reasoning and scientific outlook give rise to various superstitions, beliefs among the people. Education and rational outlook can be a panacea for such ills. The religious beliefs dominate the intellectual and practical life of village people. Religion has permeated onto the cultural norms of the society. Religious beliefs also have influenced the folk songs, paintings, marriage, customs, and social festivals. Rituals provide sanctity to the religious codes and dominate the life of urban rural people. The specific sets of rituals are codified for particular caste. Class structure for rural agrarian society. The division of class structure in villages is basically divided into landowner, tenants, and peasant. The economy of agriculture provides the basic class stratification. The villages also contain local artisans, uneconomic holders of land. The caste structure is in present day may be ordained as class structure because large land holding may be previously with the upper caste. Present day market economy has provided economic mobility to erstwhile lower caste who may be the present day landowner. In today's world economy is the prime mover of class structure in village, although the hereditary caste structure cannot be together rooted out. The landowner derives his primary agriculture income from property rights in the soil. From the share of produce that grows on his soil, the benefits can be reaped as cash or in kind. The proprietor of land may lease his hands to tenants and may hire laborers to cultivate. Rural poverty. Villages are the lifeline of India, but poverty has clogged the lives of rural folk. The unequal distribution of rural assets, such as land, along with failure in crops due to erratic rainfall and floods, are causes of poverty in the countryside. Lack of skills and education, along with distress migration, has been other causes of poverty. Poverty has its effects on overall human development. The poor are deprived of basic human necessity of nutrition, sanitation, and health. Such situation has negative repercussion in the overall economy of the nation. Also, a major demography cannot be harnessed to its optimum potential. Then comes to causes of rural poverty. The anti-poverty and development programs has not percolated to the real beneficiary. The problem of disguised labor is prevalent in agriculture. Lack of other employment avenues due lack of requisite skills and technical education. Irrigational facilities are not available in major areas. Dependence on rainfall and groundwater extraction has caused a detrimental effect on agricultural practices. Low agricultural poverty due to dependence on traditional methods of farming techniques. Proper institutional credit facilities are lacking. Non availability of crop insurance, financial literacy is absent among the rural folks. Poor quality of livestock. The connectivity networks are also poor. Markets are not properly established, leading to poor market linkages and dominance of middle in agricultural business. Middle in the sense middlemen. Poor quality of education and lack of skill development and absence of dynamic community leadership. Failure of village cooperatives to the functions in a creative way. Women are not properly included in developmental and decision making process. Presence of feudalism, patriarchy, and intercaste rivalry. Presence of liquor and unwanted expensive social spending on rituals and customs, etc. Models presenting causes of rural poverty. Resource barrier, supportive barrier, social system barrier, and market barrier. So these are the four columns of the table which represent different models presenting the causes of rural poverty. In the resource barrier, nature of soil, non-exploitation, poor quality of minerals, inadequate capital, lack of common property resource. Then supportive barrier may low and erratic rainfall, inadequate irrigation, poor quality of livestock, and absence of industries. In social system barrier, inaccessibility to credit facility, people's literacy and unwillingness to deviate from established social expense, not ensuring required resources to small entrepreneurs. When it comes to market barriers, non-feasibility of increases in price of agricultural products, denial of periodic increase in wages of agricultural laborers, unapproachable roads to reach markets, non-availability of marketing facility for selling products, non-lucrative profit margins on product inadequate credit systems. Strategies for alleviating poverty in rural areas. The formal credit institutions should be properly strengthened, targeted use of power supply and fertilizer for agricultural purpose. Cooperative societies should be renewed for selling products of household industries. Poverty alleviation programs should be properly targeted so the benefits reach the needy ones. Focus should be given on integrated approach of human development by focusing on health, nutrition, sanitation, and skill development, creating social awareness to arrest increasing debt growing among the poor. Financial literacy must be propagated and banking facilities must be introduced with the right earnest. Agrarian reforms and its impact on villages. Agriculture, being the core of the rural economy and livelihood, depends on agricultural income. Comprehensive program of land reform was enacted after independence in India. Abolition of intermediaries. The post-independence India has seen a major overhaul in land reforms, among which is the abolition of intermediary tenures known as jamindaris, jagirs, inams, etc. Redistribution of land. There was a high degree of inequality in the distribution of land in the villages. It was necessary to follow up abolition of intermediaries with redistribution of land. The second stage of reforms consists of land sealing, redistributing the surplus land among the landless and small landholders. The policies were mainly distributive in nature, which helps in redistribution of rural income to tillers of the land. Bhudan movement. Bhudan movement pioneered by Acharya Vinoba Bhave was an alternative method of redistribution of land. The basic motto of this movement was to provide land to the landless peasants, which will bring about a sense of equality and dignity among the poor farmers. Green Revolution. Green Revolution was introduced in India in 1966 to enhance the food grain productivity through high yielding variety of seeds of wheat and rice. It was first initiated in the areas of assured irrigation and then to other areas except dry lands. The Green Revolution was successful in Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. The enhancement of agricultural yield was mainly beneficial to large landowners. It did not benefit small and marginal farmers much. There was growth of wealth among rich farmers due to the proper market linkages to sell their yields. Also, they could spend on the inputs such as fertilizer, electricity, storage, and transportation, etc. Thus, there was a sharp class and caste inequality, exploitative labor relationship. The commercialization of agriculture enriched the large landholder on one hand and increased the number of landless laborers, most of whom are low caste and untouchables. Panchayati Raj Institution, keeping in consonance with the Gandhian philosophy of Gram Swaraj, and also enshrined in the Constitution as directive principles of state policy. Panchayati Raj Institution were set up in India by 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. The act was initiated to devolve power to village level institutions so that participatory democracy can be ensured at the grassroots level. The paradigm shift in development dynamics took place so that village folks can take part in socio-economic development and distributive social justice system. The function of the Panchayati Raj institution is to administer local public affairs, raise required local finances, and locate manpower resources. Post independence transformation of rural society. Post independence period has shown a dynamic shift in rural society, especially in regions undergoing green revolution. The increased use of agricultural labor, shift in mode of payment from kind to cash, and presence of free wage laborers were evident in these areas. The commercialization of agriculture has brought about a capitalistic mode of production to this sector. The laborers were used as a mere means of production. As farm sector growth took place, the rural society was integrated to the market economy. The flow of capital led to diversification of business and employment opportunities. The transformation of rural society began during colonial period, but it gained momentum during post-independence period due to intervention of government policies, development of irrigation, rural infrastructure, input fertilizers, formal credit mechanism through banks and cooperatives for agricultural growth prompted these changes. These policies not only transformed the rural economy but also rural social system. Globalization and Indian village. India opened its economy to the global market during 1990s, heralding the dawn of globalization and liberalization. The impact of globalization had its impact on social customs and traditions. The westernization of cultures has led to erosion of traditional values and customs. The impact of global media has brought about a tectonic shift in the culture and thought process of Indian village. The globalization process has brought about a aspiration changes in the mind of rural people. The employment is no longer fixed to agriculture sector. The village youth has shifted to various employment avenues armed with education and skill development. The age old traditional customs are questioned by logical, rational outlook. Let's summarize what we have learned in this module. Villages in India reflect the wider kaleidoscopic nature of rural society, which is one hand is rooted in ancient traditions, whereas on the other hand, forces of modernization are working in tandem. The rural villages are organically interlinked society which has evolved through times. It is a reality that mirrors the very heart of India. Villages are the center of self sufficiency, embodiment of collectivism. Though society is still rooted in age old customs of caste, feudalism, and patriarchy, the process of modern participative democracy has ensured the principle of equality. The effectiveness of participative institution provides the basis of redistribution and egalitarianism, which is the future of a democratic society. Villages are the epitaph on which the foundation of democracy is written. Thank you.